It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. This is the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. I am your host, Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst and also a certified financial planner. And this is a show where money is not scary and it's not boring. It is sort of entertaining. And what we try to do is help you get where you want to go. And all we ask from you is a tiny bit of work. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. You complete the form, and if you want to join us live, Mark will do everything else. But of course, we do emails all the time. Let's get the show started with a note from Mark, whose message is paralysis by analysis. Okay, Mark, let's hear it. Mark says, I've been listening to your podcast for the past 2 years on my daily 1.5 hour commute, and I receive your weekly newsletter. Thank you so much. I love that. By the way, everyone should subscribe to the newsletter. Okay, Mark goes on to write, I value your advice on life and finances. And as the title indicates, I'm confident in the fact that I should make a change, but I have not made it. I chose my current advisor based on his being well-versed in my employer's benefits. And I hope that he would provide insight beyond my knowledge. He has invested in 17 to 21 funds. God, in our IRA, Roth, and brokerage accounts. That's just a lot of funds. Okay, let me go on. As I will be retiring in September of 25, I would like to find a fee-only fiduciary to review our asset allocation, maybe to reduce my fees, and also look at our returns and risk, tax planning, distribution strategy, as well as advise on Social Security and pension choices. Sounds like a perfect candidate for a financial plan. Okay, Mark goes on to write, my wife is 57 and is retired. Her pension is $39,000 a year net. I am 60. My yearly income is $124,000. We currently contribute $8,000 each to our Roths. I'm maxing my 457 at $30,500. Our assets are her IRA, which is $264,000, Roth $68,000, my IRA $473,000, Roth $181,000, Roth $457,000, $100,000, joint brokerage about $170,000, emergency funds $15,000, and are holding a 10-year treasury $50,000 at 5%. I love that. Okay. His Social Security benefit, $1,900 at age 62, $3,000 at 67, $3,800 at 70. Wife's benefit, $1,900, $2,700, $3,300 respectively. The pension options as of September 25 are single, meaning his life only. He'll get $68,000. The 50% joint and survivor, meaning if he dies and she survives, $63,000. 100% joint, $59,000. Expenses, $100,000 to $115,000, depending on the cost of travel. No debt. Home is bequeathed to a family member. Our remaining assets have named beneficiaries. After retirement, I hope to work with and become a CFP. That's so great. Help me simplify my financial future. Thank you for your valuable direction. Okay, Mark, here we go. So I think you should talk to a fee-only advisor. You can find one by going to NAPFA, NAPFA.org, NAPFA.org. So NAPFA, these are the kind of people who might do a plan only. Now, I think that you're going to really want to be part of this process. And when you talk about analysis paralysis, I think what's interesting to me is I don't see that it's almost like it's impossible for you to screw this up. I'm serious when I say that. You both have income, you both have pensions. My guess is that when we run these numbers, when you run these numbers and you create a plan, you will find just that. You can do exactly what you want. I am not sure why anybody would have 17 to 21 funds in any of these accounts. You know, gang, it's really like, it's overdue. It's overdoing it. It's like, you need 3, 4, maybe 5 funds, but that's it. There's not a lot more to do. And you don't have to drive yourself crazy. The planning work is interesting because I think that because you both have pension elections and you have opportunities here to maximize your pension benefits, that it'll be interesting to me to just kind of run through the numbers. Now, I'm just going to ask Mark to jump in here. Mark, do you have an opinion about the pension selection for him at this point? Because remember, the wife's already retired. She gets the 39 grand. My guess is that when running the numbers, that the numbers will indicate that they should wait as long as possible for Social Security. But what do you think is going to be the best choice for the pension for him in 2025?
For me, it's a no-brainer. It's only a $9,000 cut. I am taking the 100% joint and survivor. That leaves him with $59,000 plus her $40,000. That's basically $100,000, which is kind of what they need.
Right, and that's even before we do Social Security. So that's why I think that the Social Security is going to be the no-brainer. Now, here's the only thing to think about. If you decided that you said, I don't really even care, like you probably can run these numbers yourself because you're saying you got analysis paralysis. It's probably not that big a deal. But I don't think anything wrong is going to occur. I probably am guessing that because you have a great interest in this, it could be kind of fun for you to run the numbers yourself. And also, maybe you just fire this other advisor and do it yourself. It's not that hard. And if you have an interest and you're willing to invest a little bit of time, you'll figure it out. The actual money management, boy, that's the easiest part. And any large institution where you could hold these assets will have an option where there's like a robo-advisor, or you could just use some index funds. You can go to any large institution's website and start looking at just using 4 or 5 index funds and calling it a day. I think you are very close to being there. I'd be interested in running it, but on the other hand, I also wouldn't kill myself in terms of I wouldn't certainly pay 20 grand to have somebody do this. I think you can do this yourself. How about that? And then if you need help, you can always get help. All right. I hope that helps. Okay, this is from Alex, who writes, subject, investment advisor. I use an advisory service from a large firm for most of my accounts, an IRA, a Roth, and a brokerage, and I'm not satisfied. Are there any other firms that I might want to try? Okay, here's my big question for you, Alex. Are we talking about plain old investment management, or are we talking about an actual financial advisor? And again, gang, when you're telling me I need to find an advisor, my first question is going to be, what are you seeking? Are you seeking just asset allocation? You can get asset allocation from any large firm. They all have these robo options. And so you should actually check that out. All right. But if you think that you need real financial planning, that's where we start to get into some nuance. Should we be looking at a financial planning service that's kind of cheap along with your money management? Should we be looking at a one-on-one, high-class, dedicated financial advisor for you? And we should maybe talk about what needs you have. We'll get back to more of your questions in just a minute. It's the Jill on Money Show.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are here answering your financial questions. If you have one, just go to our website. That's jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and of course, if you'd like to join us live on the air, check the box, because Mark Talercio is, in fact, the best executive producer in the world. He will guide you in your journey to get on the air with us. Now, while you are on the website, I encourage you to check out a few things. First of all, you've got to subscribe to the Jill on Money live service. We just had our amazing webinar with Heather Schreiber. She is a Social Security expert, and it was wonderful. We had so many people join us, and if you missed that and you really wish you could have been part of it and maybe just forgot to sign up, you can just go to the website right now, plunk down $35, and you will get the next 4 live webinars, but you'll also be able to go back and watch the webinars that we've already conducted. All of that for $35. There's also wonderful special bonus content that we pop in behind the paywall. I think you'll really like it. Now, if you don't want to spend money, that's okay too, because we have so much other content that is on our website that's totally free. We have a blog section. We have 2 podcasts that you can check out. There are links to them on the website. We have videos. We have resources. And you can also check out our YouTube show. It's called Jill on Money, powered by the Compound. And one thing I should mention about the Compound, if you're the kind of person who also, in addition to all of your personal financial planning needs, you really want to do a little bit more of a deeper dive on investments, our friends at the Compound host a number of shows that are really rich in content. They're very easy to understand. And I know we don't usually go so deep on the investment side, even though I know how to do that. Don't worry. But these guys are great. I think you really will like them. All right, right now, let's go to George, who's on the line from Connecticut.
Hello, Jill and Mark. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. What's going on? How can we help you?
So I am one of those people. When I say I should say we, because my wife, she's the real boss. She and I have started early, at saving early and following some pretty good financial principles. And we've started to accumulate some decent amount of money, I think. But I'm also worried that it's with our younger ages, it's still not going to be enough by the time we retire.
Okay. How old are you guys?
I'm 40 and my wife is 39.
Okay. Are you both working full time?
We both are, yes.
How much do you guys earn together?
Together, we earn $300,000 a year.
Okay. And are you both working for organizations? Anyone self-employed in this couple?
No, we're both W-2s.
Okay. And are you making retirement plan contributions off of that combined $300,000 of household income?
We are, and up until, I'll ask you about this too, but up until very recently, we were making the maximum contributions, 22,500, 23,000, in a mix of traditional and Roth.
Okay.
We also get company matches. My match is about 7%. Her match is about 5%.
Okay, that's great.
And just recently, we purchased another car and borrowed money on it, and I want to get it paid off as quickly as possible, so I pulled back on the 401k contribution. So
how much is the car loan? What amount?
Well, we have 2 car loans. The outstanding balance is about $70,000 for the 2.
Oh, must be nice cars, Mr. George in Connecticut. Okay. What's the interest rate on these loans?
The one loan at about $30,000 is 6.5%.
Okay.
And the other loan at about $40,000 is 5.5%.
Okay, I got it. And if you look at your total amount of money that you have in traditional and Roth retirement accounts, how much money's in there already?
So we have about $710,000 in traditional.
Wow.
And we started early. That helps. And we have about 108 in Roth.
All right. That's a good chunk of money. Amazing. And you guys own your home?
We do.
What's it worth?
The home's worth about $550,000.
Mortgage outstanding?
Yep, $260,000 at 3%.
You guys got some kids?
We have 2 little kids, 8 years old and 5-year-old.
Okay. Are you saving for college for them?
We are. We have about $50,000 combined in the 529s for them.
Okay, got it. Are you putting money in on an ongoing basis, or is it like ad hoc? Like, oh, when we see a bunch of money build up in our checking account, then we pop money in. Which way do you fund your 529s?
Monthly. We put in, about 550, 600 a month.
That's good. So you got the house. I mean, first of all, everyone listening, if you hear 300,000 of household income, you might be like, oh my God, that's a chunk of money. But you live in a fairly high cost state. You have your mortgage, you got the kids, you're putting a ton of money away. And the fact that you borrowed money for the car leads me to believe that you don't have a lot of money outside of retirement. Is that right?
That is correct. We have an HSA worth about 28,000 right now. We have about 11,000 in a brokerage, and we have about 30,000 in cash. But
just like safe emergency reserve.
Emergency reserve, yeah. But up until recently, we've been tightening our belt quite a bit to really shoehorn money away. We haven't had a lot of I don't want to say disposable income, but
you mean are you not having any fun? Poor you. It's not fun to be buckling down like that.
That's a little bit of the truth, yeah.
Right?
I'm trying to come out of the state of gotta save more, and I guess I kind of want to know when can I let up off the gas a little bit and spend a little more money.
Well, I mean, look, I think that paying the two different car loans, right? The 6.5 and the 5. The 6.5 is the more recent one. Is that a new car recently?
Yep, that's the wife's car.
The 40,000 at 5.5%. How many more years are left on that?
3 years, I believe, left on that.
So these kind of do go away. The brokerage account. Can we talk about that for a second? Sure. Is that just fun money?
You know, that was money that way back in the low interest days, I was considering refinancing my mortgage down to a 15-year, and it was 2
Thank
point
God
something.
You didn't do. By the way, thank God you didn't do that. I mean, your cash flow would look really not so hot if that were the case.
Agreed. And I looked at how much extra per month it would be, did the math, and said, you know, if I just invested this in a brokerage account, I'm going to come out 3x ahead by after 15 years. So that's what I did. And that's what I did. I just started sticking that $300 or $350 a month in a brokerage and forgot about it. Well, didn't forget about it. Invested it.
So you have some gains in there, right?
Yes.
So right now, is it the case that, you know, given you're putting so much money into retirement, now you said you pulled back a little bit, but you're still putting a lot of money in, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we pulled back to, we basically just cut out, because I didn't want to mess up my tax situation at the end of the year too bad. So we basically just stopped doing the Roth and left traditional alone. So now the missus is at 11% traditional, and I'm at 7.5% traditional.
We'll get back to George in a minute. If you have a question, go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and write us a note. And if you'd like to join us on the air live, you just check that box, and Mark does everything else. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions, sometimes less bad ones. Sometimes we're here to kind of give you props like, wow, you did such a great job with this, and maybe you don't even realize it. If you'd like another set of eyes and ears on your situation, let us know how we can help. Just go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. You can write us that note. And if you'd like to join us on the air, all you need to do is check the box. Mark does everything else. He's so good like that. Really, it's amazing. while you're on the website, you should definitely sign up for our free weekly newsletter. Mark compiles all the stories of the week that you might have missed. It goes out on Fridays. I think you'll really like it. It's a perfect tune-up for the weekend show. It really is. Okay, right now, let's get back to George, who's on the line from Connecticut. There's two other things I would think about. So now that you have that, and you do have a lot of money in retirement, and you're only 40 years old, so that's amazing. And neither of you will get a pension, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So you got so much money in there, 800 grand, that you have the ability now to kind of pull back a tiny bit. And yes, I would absolutely use the extra cash flow and pay down the 6.5% loan. And I would make that the priority because obviously it's a higher interest. Another idea, if you just wanted to kind of make yourself feel better, which is, hey, I did well with my brokerage. Maybe I'll just sell that brokerage account out and put 11 grand down on that car, on that 30 grand, and lock in a after-tax return of 6.5%, which is a very nice amount of money to just get paid with no risk. So I might consider that unless you're feeling nostalgic about having a brokerage account.
No, it's, originally it was there to pay down debt on the house.
This is a much better debt to pay down.
Yes.
So if you sold that, you keep a little extra money, put like a few $1,000s in your savings account, because I think you're probably a little light on savings. So I might just say add $5 grand to your savings account, put $6,000 down on the 6.5% loan, direct all extra payments to that 6.5% loan and whittle that down. And once that's done, then concentrate on the 40, which, by the way, is going to happen more naturally anyway, because it's going to be done in 3 years anyway, but you'll get that paid off. I presume you guys will be debt-free. And, by the time you're 43 years old, this is all going to get done. And the other option for you, which I think might be maybe slightly weird, would be to also at the exact same time cut back a tiny bit on the 529s. Because you do have 50 grand in there, and you could say, well, instead of 600 a month, let's do 400 a month, and you could certainly do that if you want to accelerate this whole thing. Look, if you had car loans that were 2%, we wouldn't have this conversation. They're a real enough interest rate that it matters. And once the debt is done, I think that the next question is, hey, should we just keep putting as much money into retirement? Should we direct all this extra cash flow into some retirement, some kids? Do we want to build up our non-retirement brokerage account again? But I don't know, we'll see where you are. I think it's going to take you a year or two, obviously, but it may be a less amount of time if you have a great year. I mean, do you guys get bonuses? Is there any upside in that $300,000 income?
That's that includes the average bonus size in there. So,
Okay.
Normally we get a touch more, but that we're talking 5,000 or 10,000 more a year, which is great, which we're grateful for. But
but I mean, if you happen to have a great year, amazing, and you can certainly go and make an adjustment, right? If you have a great year and you can be like, oh my God, we had a great year, let's put a little bit more down on the car. But you'll get this done. But I mean, I have to say, Mark's probably already pounding his calculator right now. $800,000, Mark, right now for 40-year-olds, pretty good, right? We're looking at, the next 10, let's just look 10 years at, and you'll be 50 only. I mean, I presume you're going to work till these kids are done with college. So you got 15 years to go at least, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's at a minimum work until they're out of college.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that we could look ahead and really see that the money you have saved already gives you the flexibility to do just that, which is pull back a little bit. But you're putting money away. Again, like you said, because you're putting away 7.5%, and then you get the 7% match, and your wife's putting away 11%, and she's getting a 5% match. There's a lot of money going away. And so, Mark, in 10 years, 800 grand, grow it at a normal rate of return, not like an insane, do 6% for the heck of it, just for fun. 10 years.
Yeah, that's with no contributions. You're looking at, probably 1.5 in 15 years with no contributions, almost 2 million, and you're going to be contributing. So
exactly. This is what I really feel. I have to say, this is so important to me, which is like, you've done a lot of hard work, which is great. You're going to have different options as you look ahead, but we'll figure that out then. But now you're doing an incredible, incredible job. Truly.
Wonderful. That's reassuring to hear. Thank you for that.
Now, can I ask a more boring question? Do you guys have life insurance? Do you have your estate documents done? Have you done that stuff in your fancy big car?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that. We did our will about maybe 9-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, very common, like my stuff goes to her stuff goes to me type thing.
Sure.
But, and in the will, we had split our assets evenly amongst the children.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, my daughter wasn't born yet. So I don't know if it makes sense to...
She's out of it. She just doesn't get anything. You know what? Go back to an attorney. Go to an attorney and say, we have sweetheart wills. We have one extra kid. Is there anything that needs to be updated? That's all I would do. It's probably written in such a way that you don't have to do it, because it usually is like, the kids we have and any in the future would be treated like blank. But in case you didn't, I would just have someone look at it just for the heck of it.
That makes sense.
If you've got a financial issue, if you really think that you are wrestling with something and you need some help, we want to assist you. Just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. Write us that note. And if you'd like to join us live, we'd love to have you. Check the box. Mark does everything else. Jill on Money will be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. We do that by having you go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and asking us some questions. Let's take one of those questions. This email is from Paula, and the subject is universal life insurance. I'm 65 years old with a $750,000 universal life insurance policy. My husband is 68 and has a $500,000 universal life insurance policy. By the way, gang, just universal life is a permanent life insurance policy. It stays in place for your whole life. Inside of this is some sort of accumulation account. And the way that you make money on this is that you get credited a certain amount of interest from whatever you choose in terms of the investment. Okay. So here's the goes on with the question. I want to leave my life insurance proceeds to my husband and as an inheritance for my son and my family. My husband's life insurance is to cover me due to his pension option. So a lot of people will choose some sort of permanent life insurance policy, and they choose that because they say, okay, there's a pension, but it's only paid to one person. So I want to have insurance on my life so that if I were to die and the pension income goes away, my spouse gets life insurance proceeds to cover the survivor. Okay. Given the above goals, should we continue to fund our universal life insurance policies? We are aware that the premiums on each policy will increase as we age. We are retired. Our only son is married, employed, and lives in a different state. We've got one grandchild who already has a college fund. My pension has been rolled into an IRA. Our monthly expenses are covered by my husband's pension. Therefore, there's no need to dip into our retirement plan funds. We plan to collect Social Security at age 70, and we have an emergency fund. Here's what I would suggest, Paula. I would look at the policy that you have. And, I wonder, if you were to run a scenario where you did not have this life insurance policy, stop paying for it. Why, what would be lost would be the $750, but you'd have other money that would go to your husband and to your son. and his wife and the grandkid. So I don't know about funding yours. His sounds like the smarter option, but I'd have to look at both policies and see what the costs are. But it sounds like yours is sort of the extra that's unnecessary. But if I'm missing something, let me know. Okay, this is from Susan, who is asking about a short-term loan for purchasing a home. Hi, Jill. You know I'm going to hate this, Mark. Hi, Jill. My husband is 76 and I'm 68, and we plan on moving to a neighboring state. We'd like to buy our next home before selling the current one. You know, I can't stand this idea of owning two houses. I'd rather, as Albie would say, my dad would say, I'd rather be short one house than long two houses. But that's not how Susan rolls. She says they're going to have a gap of $100,000 between cash on hand and the purchasing price. Once we sell the current home, we would pay off the short-term loan. Although I have a Vanguard brokerage account with $548,000, I'm wary of selling $100,000 of it because it would push us into a higher tax bracket and would cause higher premiums on Medicare. Irma. We're currently in the 22% bracket. Mortgage lenders with a roughly 6.5% interest rate and origination fee want a minimum of 6 months before paying off the loan. A bridge loan from our bank offers 11% rate with a $500,000 origination fee. Vanguard will provide a margin loan for 12.25%, no origination fee. For a loan that I conservatively expect will last 2 to 3 months, the margin loan would be the least expensive. However, I don't really understand how the margin loan works and never heard of it being used this way before. It sounds like a workable option after talking to the Vanguard representative. What would you advise? Are there other options I should consider? Mark, would you like to weigh in on the other option?
I only see one option. Sell $100,000 and deal with Irma for 1 year.
That's it. I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, you could do a margin loan. Let me tell you what a margin loan is, gang. It's basically saying my account, her account that has $550,000, a plain old brokerage account, you can borrow against it. And your only downside is if the market falls apart, then you are asked, and I mean really falls apart. So you borrow the 550 account, it's worth 550, you pull 100 out, it's a loan. And then you are subject to the organization asking for more money. You have to put more money into the account or force the sale of assets if the account would plummet in value. Okay. So you basically are in a situation where I don't think there's a huge amount of risk doing that. But I also don't see why we're so worried about paying the capital gains rate right now. I don't know. I mean, you're 76 and 68, right? You're in right now. She says she's in the 22% bracket. The 24% bracket seems like pretty reasonable to me. And you're basically going to say that you're paying the 23.8% at max. And I don't even think you will. I think you'd be at 18.8% in terms of capital gains. So I think I would just sell also. Or, the simplest option is to not do this. It's to actually sell your house and then buy your next home. I really feel like this is one of those questions that has the simplest answer, and that truly is to have a sale of an asset, reallocate, and go forward. Are you thinking about something going on in your financial life? Is it keeping you up at night? Is it causing some problems with your partner? Let us help. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write us your note. The Jill on Money Show will be right back. You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show. Now, I think sometimes that when we put money in the title of a show, you think, oh, I'm bad with money. I can't let. That's not what this show is about. This show is really about trying to help you make better decisions in your real life that somehow impact your money. So that can mean that you're wrestling with taking one job versus another. It might mean that you're thinking about downsizing or upsizing your home. And it might mean that you're thinking about maybe starting your own business or retirement or how to get to retirement. Whatever is going on in your real life that touches your money, we are here to help you out. All you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com. You click the Contact Us button, you write a note, and of course, let us know if you would be willing to come on the air live with us. We love when you do that because I can ask follow-up questions. And I think that some of those questions, as you hear, are really important in the conversation. But if you're shy, that's okay too. We read emails. In fact, we're going to do that right now. This is from Joan, who writes, I have $28,000 in a Roth IRA that I would like to withdraw and pay off my car. I'm 79 years old. I'm retired with no debt. I do have money in my savings and investment accounts, and taking the IRA will not leave me broke. I need to know, am I going to be taxed on the amount I withdraw? Wait a minute. I thought you said you have no debt. Now we're paying off a car. So I guess you have a car loan. Okay, that's one thing. Presuming that that money in the Roth IRA has been there for 5 years, you can certainly withdraw it. But I would really like to think about maybe leaving that Roth IRA alone because, yes, you've already paid taxes on it and there would not be a tax event, but that's such a great asset to hold on to. Meanwhile, why not use your savings account or maybe an investment account? Maybe it's time to rearrange some of your portfolio. I'd love to know a little bit more, Joan, and maybe we could guide you. But the answer to your question is money that is in a Roth IRA that's been there for 5 years will not cause a tax event if you withdraw it. All right, the Jill on Money Show will be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and the fun just keeps coming because we are here helping you make better financial decisions. But yes, we have a little bit of a sense of humor. We don't take ourselves too seriously, and we want to help you get where you want to go in your life, in your financial life, but with a little bit more thought around your life part, not the financial part. So if you've got a question, if something's going on, if you're contemplating a big move, if you're worried about something in the economy, why not go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write us a note. And if you'd like to join us on the air live, you just check that box, and Mark does everything else. While you're on the website, you can check out all the content that lives there. There's free stuff like the free weekly newsletter and the 2 podcasts and the blog and the video section and, of course, the resources. That's all free. It's so awesome. But you can also spend a few bucks. You can buy my book, The Great Money Reset, which is now out in paperback. This is a great resource for people who are contemplating big changes in their lives. It's really based on my conversations with you, my listeners, and the guardrails that I started to try to develop to help you go through big changes in your life. So check it out, The Great Money Reset. Okay, right now, let's go talk to Greg, who's on the line from Portland, Oregon.
So I'm about 61 years old, and I kind of have heard I've been at the same employer for about 15 or 16 years now, and I've recently heard through the grapevine, shall we say, that my position may be changing somewhat dramatically in the near future. And from what I've been able to ascertain so far, I'm not sure it would be a good position for me if it does change in the way that I've heard. Right. And so I am just looking for a little reassurance that, all of the numbers that I run on my own, down in my basement, that I might be all right if that indeed does come to pass.
Okay, so let's run some numbers and let's look at where you are. So you said you're almost 61 years old. Are you single, partnered, married?
So I'm partnered, but I met my partner roughly 11 years ago, and we lived together. But at that time, we decided to kind of keep our expenses separate, or
Okay.
our financials separate, except for shared, living expenses, mortgage, travel, entertainment, etc.
Well, you'll just tell me like cut it in half if it's just your half. So
Okay.
do you guys own real estate together?
I own the house myself.
How much is the house worth?
It's roughly $620,000.
Is there a mortgage that still remains?
I have about $120,000 left on that outstanding mortgage.
What's the interest rate?
Oh, we're down at like 3.6 something.
And is that the only real estate that you own?
So I also have a vacant lot that I've been sitting on for about 25 years, and I think that's probably worth about, let's say 200,000.
Was the intention you'd build something and now you're not going to, or is that still an idea that's out there and percolating?
It was always intended to be extra money when I decide to retire, and my gut feeling is that I'll just sell it off clean and walk away.
Okay. So tell us about the amount of money you have saved beyond the vacant lot and the equity in your home. So you've been working for a while. So what have you squirreled away?
Yeah. So in my pre-tax retirement counts, I have roughly $702,000.
That's pre-tax.
Yep.
And do you have any Roth assets?
I have about 267 currently in Roth.
Okay, great. What about non-retirement? Maybe an investment account or a brokerage account, something like that?
Yeah, I have a mutual fund with my broker that I kind of keep as cash in the back, and I also have like a high yield savings account, and they total about 45,000.
You have a broker. What's the broker doing? Managing something, or besides the high yield savings and the mutual fund, is that person the one who's like in charge of your Roth?
Well, maybe broker's the wrong term. It's with like Fidelity.
Okay.
So
Okay, got it.
I have managed everything myself.
Beautifully, I might add.
Thank you.
Okay, Greg, here, and is that it for the assets? 702, 267, 45,000, the house, the lot, anything else?
No, that's it.
And how much do you earn right now?
I'm about 87,000 a year.
Are you, or would you be entitled to a pension?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. Do you happen to know your Social Security estimate right now for either your age 67 or 70?
I do. I have both of them for you. At 67, it would be roughly $27.90
a month.
Yes, and at
Okay.
70, it would be $35.10.
Do you have an estimate of what your expenses are, or your half of, like what you're responsible for
Right.
on an annual basis?
I do. I've actually been tracking it over the last 3 years, and the average of those 3 years is $3,800 a month.
That's it. That's great. Do you have to take care of anyone else? Do you have parents? Do you have a kid? Do you have a brother who's a bust out? Anything like that?
Not even a pet, unfortunately, at this moment.
Oh, you need a pet. Come on.
I don't know if I want a 20-year commitment on a new cat.
Very fair. Okay. So when do you think, I know this is a grapevine kind of thing, but when do you think this could occur?
That's really hard to judge, Jill. I mean, it could be as soon as a couple of months. It might be a year out,
Okay.
And in reality, it may not even happen, right?
Yeah, but it's a good exercise to go through. So let's go through and do some math. The vacant lot, if you were to sell the vacant lot, what did you buy the vacant lot for? How much money did you pay for it?
So it was actually included with the property that the house is on. Several years ago, I partitioned it into a separate lot.
How is the IRS going to look at this? I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how's the IRS going to look at this in terms of what's the cost basis on this?
Here's I'm showing my ignorance here, Jill. I really have no idea.
Okay. Well, it's not ignorance because so you bought a house. The house is on a lot. There's also a vacant lot that you got permitted for a separate lot.
Correct.
That now has a value of $200,000.
Correct.
So what you're going to need to do you work with a CPA or a tax preparer?
I do not.
I feel like we're going to have to kind of make this up. The reason is that you got to put something down. You can't have like $200,000 flow to you and say, it's worth $200,000 and I bought it for $200,000. So we have to make a fair appraisal. So what I think could happen is, let's say your house is worth $620,000. What did you buy the house for originally?
So originally the entire land area and the house was $168,000.
We'll get back to Greg in just a minute. Are you worried about your job? Are you worried about something else going on in your financial life or your real life? Give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write that note. This is the Jill on Money Show, and we'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here listening to the things that you want to do in your life and how that might impact your financial life. And we're trying to help give you some different opportunities to figure out different ways to get to where you want to go. There's not always just one answer. We are not finger waggers. What we are is empathetic human beings who are also certified financial planners. So a little left brain, right brain there for you, gang. I hope that after you've listened to the program enough that you know that we do not judge where you are. I hope that you let yourselves off the hook and don't judge your own financial condition against someone else's. Each of us comes to our lives in a different place. If you're an amazing teacher, there's no way you're going to make as much money as a pharmaceutical salesperson. If you're an amazing social worker, you're probably not going to make as much money as a plastic surgeon. So what? We just want to guide you on whatever financial journey that you're on. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Right now, let's get back to Greg from Portland. So what we need to figure out is what portion of that would be the land and what portion is the house on the other lot. And someone's going to give you some guidance on that. Okay. But you're going to have to pay some tax, I have a feeling.
Of course.
I mean, so we just need to, the only reason I'm putting that out there is that if you bought it for let's say you say, well, no, the fair value is that of the 168, 50 grand is the lot. I'm just making this up. I have no idea if that's the case. And you say the cost basis on the lot is 50 grand. I'm selling it for 200,000. I have $150,000 of gain. And now I need to add that to my taxable accounting of this property, right?
Correct.
And so you're going to, okay, but that's okay. You'll just keep the tax out there. So what I think is important around this is that vacant lot is a really nice way for you to add to your $45,000 of your mutual fund and your high yield savings. It doesn't have to happen all at once, right? It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I'm going to retire the next day the vacant lot is for sale. You don't have to feel that pressure, okay? It'll just help. But I do think that let's pretend you're done at the end of this year.
Sounds good.
And then you're right. Okay. So now from age 62 to age 70, to age 67, we need to pull some money out of your pre-tax account. So we need to pull out enough money to afford your $3,800 a month. And I would pull the money out of the pre-tax money because what it will do is it will help you, number one, float your expenses, but it will kind of lower the amount of money that you must take out of that account by the time you turn 75, right? When you have to take those distributions.
Those are the mandatory.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so let's say that, you're making 87 now. Let's say that and you're putting money into your pre-tax account right now. What percentage are you putting in there?
In total, so I'm contributing to my employer's plan, plus I'm also doing my Roth on the side. And altogether, I calculated it roughly 17% of my income.
That's a good number. So let's say that, right now you're being taxed on 87, less whatever the pre-tax contribution is. But let's just say that in the future, for those years until either 67 or 70, that you're taking, 60 grand out of your pre-tax account. 60 grand. You just take it out until you do that. Let's say you did it for 5 years. Okay. And again, I think you're going to have to see what happens with the lot, what happens with are you guys going to stay in this house or not? And, just sort of estimate it.
Okay.
But you then can have some money that is coming in. You can either have maybe it's this $27.90 a month. And then from there, at age 67, all you need to do is be taking 15 grand a month. You're going to cut this amount down, but you can afford to do this.
Okay.
Would you consider, if things stayed as is, okay, and there's no change in your job, what was going to be your targeted retirement date?
So my plan was, or kind of still is that I would retire at 63 and a half, so I could run on Cobra for a year and a half until 65.
Okay. I mean, I think, look, your only downside is if the whole thing falls apart this year is that your expenses at 3,800 will be more, right? It's going to be more because you'll have to pay for healthcare, right?
Exactly.
But even if it's more, you can do that for a few years, or you can work part-time. I don't know if you have the kind of job where you could do something on the side. You could have a little side hustle if you wanted to. It's up to you.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. I would definitely consult someone in the world of taxes just to help you with the sale of the lot and making sure that Uncle Sam doesn't start yelling at you. You got to pay us something. And the other thing I would ask is this. Is it possible? Is your partner working still or not?
Yes, she is. She is.
Is your intention? I mean, I guess it's also possible that she's like, "Hey, I'm working. I'll cover more of the house now." And if you're spending less than $3,800 a month, or you feel like you want to delay till age 70, that works better.
Right.
But I mean, presuming you're in good health, obviously 70 is the better number.
Yes.
But if you're feeling anxious and you want to grab this money, and you're going to sell the lot, if we took out, let's say by the time you claim Social Security, 70 years old, and you only have $200,000 in the pre-tax account. Let's just pretend $500,000 is just gone, right? Well, you still have the Roth. You'll have the proceeds of the vacant lot along with your mutual fund and your high yield savings. And if you're at 70, that amount is going to cover really a lot of your needs going forward.
That's true.
The longer you work, the better this is, obviously.
Okay.
The 63 and a half was a great plan. If for some reason none of this materializes and this was just hot gossip at work, keep working.
Okay.
It's fine, unless you hate it. Do you hate it?
I don't hate it. No.
Okay. If, however, it does happen and you feel a little anxious about really starting to yank money out of your pre-tax account, then get a side hustle and don't yank as much out.
Understood.
Now you're partnered and you own your house. So what happens if you drop dead? Who gets the house?
So I've already set it up so that it will go to my partner.
What else do you need to know from us?
So and maybe this is a little bit off topic, but I was kind of looking after I go into retirement, whenever that is keeping a little money in, let's call it cash, kind of as a buffer if the the stock market goes down and the sequence of return demon hits. I've always kind of struggled with, and I know it's kind of a personal issue, but how much should that be? I mean, a year and a half.
I would say, I was going to say it's 1 to 2 years of living expenses. So the $3,800 a month, right?
Yes.
If you said, all right, a year's worth of those expenses, that's what I'll keep in my cash reserve, right? And I mean, for most people, that would be fine. If you're feeling more anxious than that, then it could be twice that. So instead of 45, you keep 90 grand. But right now you've got your 45, right? Maybe what you do is when you have the proceeds from the lot, you take 45 of that and you put it into high yield savings. And it, depending on the timing, it may be that your high yield savings is not earning 4 or 5% like it is now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the issue. The issue for you is having comfort.
Okay.
All right. And, if all of a sudden you're wrong and the vacant lot sells for, 250 and not 200, yeah, bully for you. You'll have more to invest. Mm-hmm. But I do think that you appear to be in, good shape. This is why workplace gossip is very important, because you can plan for things like this.
Well, exactly, and it's a good motivator for me to run the numbers and look and ask for some opinions, like you've given me today.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let us know how it goes. I always wonder about these. We have so many rumors in our industry and in the media industry. Right. So, there's rumors every single day. And this is the most productive use of having a rumor like that, which is let me look at the numbers. Because if it's just a rumor and it doesn't impact you, fine. And if it's not a rumor, you're prepared. So keep us posted.
Thank you so much for your time.
If you've got a financial question, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are here trying to help you make great, less bad financial decisions. If you have something going on in your life, or you just have a question about something going on in the economy, maybe it's interest rates or mortgage rates, just give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Let's go to Maria, who's on the line from California. Today, we are talking to Maria, who's on the line from California. Hi, Maria. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
What can we do for you today?
Well, we are looking to have my husband retired, but he's questioning whether he should or not, or if he should just continue to work.
How old is he and how old are you?
I am 59 and he is 55.
Have you guys put away a lot of money so that he can retire? Are we just convincing him that he has enough money? What do you think? Do you think you can retire?
I think so.
All right, let's see if we can make this happen. So,
okay.
Are you both working now or not?
I am retired.
Okay. Do you receive any pension income?
No.
Okay. And how much does he earn currently?
60.
Okay.
60,000.
60,000. And will he be entitled to a pension?
Yes.
Oh, how much?
28.
28,000 a year.
A month.
Oh, 2,800 a month?
Uh-huh.
Okay, gotcha. How long does he have to work to claim that? Is he already qualified? Like, is it already he's got it, and the longer he works, the more that amount increases?
Correct.
Aha. But 2,800, that sounds like a good start. You'll both be entitled to Social Security?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what your Social Security benefit looks like?
Yes.
Tell me.
17 for both of us.
1,700 a month?
Mm-hmm.
And is that at age 67?
62.
Do you happen to know what it is at 67?
No, I don't.
All right. 62 is, I don't love 62 only because it's a permanently lower amount. But let's just see. So what kind of saving have you guys done for retirement? Tell us about what you've accumulated.
Okay. For savings, we have 70 liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Our stock is 27.
27,000?
Uh-huh.
Individual stocks or mutual funds?
They're like ETFs.
Oh, okay.
Things like that.
And what about retirement funds?
So we have a 401k that's 120.
Okay.
And we have rental properties.
Oh, tell me more. Rental property in California. That sounds like good income. What do we got?
So just the rental properties alone or altogether?
Whatever. Just do the rental properties. Tell us, like, how many do you have?
9 units.
What? Oh, my God. That's a full-time job. How much are they all worth? Do you have an idea of what everything's worth together?
2.2.
Wow. How much is your primary residence worth?
It's worth $1 million.
$1 million just outright?
Yeah. And
is there
our loan is $480.
$480. That's the mortgage amount. Okay. And is there a mortgage on the rental properties?
Oh, there's one mortgage on the rental property. It's worth $670, and our loan is $230.
Okay. How much rental income does this all generate? A bunch? Is it like break even? How do you guys do on the rental property?
It's about $11,000.
$11,000 a month. That's the gross. That's before you pay for expenses, etc.
The way I have it broken down is we have $17,000 coming in per month and $10,500 leaving on everything.
That's amazing. So, and when you say $10,500, you're also including like the money you spend just for yourselves, or is this just for the rental property?
Everything.
Everything.
It's
so
taxes, IRS.
Okay, so if you say to me, let's see. So you're saying 17 comes in, and that's the rental income. Is that also his $60,000?
Yes.
Okay. So you spend $10,000. Let's say you spend $11,000 a month. I'll round up. What happens when he retires? What about health care?
So he has health care. He'll always have his health care. I will have to pay for my health care, which is about $800 we plan on paying per month.
Okay. And does that mean, so so maybe what I should do is I should make your expenses a little bit higher. In other words, out of that 17 income that you have, but you really use more spend. We'll say $11,500 is maybe what you really need for a month, just for until you get, because you have to wait till 65. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So is it fair to say, so in his income is $60,000, does he make a retirement plan contribution on that $60,000 right now?
No.
Not at all. Okay. So it is kind of interesting because if I take his $60,000 and I remove it from that income, that $17,000 income, I'm thinking this kind of works because I know that the rental, it's probably a lot of, I'm not saying it's not work. I mean, but you have this passive income that is going to be able to replace, or not replace, but it's in addition to his earned income, his $60,000. So here's the way I do my crude math. He retires, even though he doesn't believe he can. He retires, he's got $2,800 a month that comes in, right? Then you also have the rental income. And then, if you want to, I think if you looked at just your rental income plus that $2,800 a month, I bet that would be enough to float your expenses. I'm not sure because I really would have to take a harder look at your rental property income and what you're paying out. But it seems like, is this what you're thinking, that cash flow is enough plus his pension to get you to meet your expenses? Is that what you think?
Yes.
That's what I think too.
And also I'm looking at future, like we have a couple of properties that are paid off and I'm looking at, should we sell at some point? Would that be better, worse? What does our future look like?
We'll get back to Maria in just a second. If you've got a question, go to JillOnMoney.com. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are here listening to the things that are on your mind about your real life and how those real life decisions might impact your financial life. Remember, money, it's not the end. It's the means to get you where you want to go. If you've got a question, go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we will help you out. Right now, let's get back to Maria from California. So first of all, I think that what you have proven, I'm not sure you should take Social Security when you're 62. You probably are going to be fine waiting till you're age 67, unless either of you is in bad health, or either of you're okay. You guys feel okay right now?
Yeah, no, I have issues taking medications. I have diabetes, so I was planning on just taking it if I can, and if it's not going to affect me as far as
you know what? In that case, this is maybe one of the rare instances when people say they don't have great health or something is going on. What I do say is that that's the only time I think 62 is worth it. It really is, because all right. So now what we know is that, and that's just in a few years, you'll have $2,800 from his pension, $1,700 for Social Security plus the rental income. In the future, here is the analysis that you need to try to run. Number one, if managing these properties is a pain in the tush, and you guys are managing it yourselves, or do you have a managing company doing it?
Ourselves.
Is it hard? I mean, it seems hard. It's like 9 units is a lot of work, no?
No, it's not that hard.
Okay. If you don't mind it, then the calculation is, if you said to me, I've got 2 properties that are paid for, how much is the value of those properties right now?
$1 million.
Okay. So if you had 2 properties at $1 million, how much income do each of those properties take in? Or let's just do a total. Like, how much income do the 2 properties that are worth $1 million, what do they bring in terms of income?
$6,000.
That's a keeper. I'll tell you why. If it's $6,000 a month, right? That is a very good return on $1 million investment. As long as it's not a pain in the neck for you to manage, okay? Having $72,000 a year come in on $1 million of investment, that is dang good. I think that the bigger question here is not whether he can retire or not. I think the bigger question that he has to ask himself is, do I feel comfortable, and you guys have to ask yourself, do I feel comfortable giving up this income, the $60,000 from work, and relying on the income that is generated from my real estate? Some people, like, it's easy to do, and I don't see why you guys should have a problem here. I think that something else is going on. Is he just nervous in general?
Yes.
Yeah. So what can we do to make, I mean, one thing you could do, have you guys ever like talked to an accountant or do you do everything on your own?
Everything on our own. That's what makes us, I think that's what makes us nervous.
I think so too.
You.
Yeah. I mean, so, okay. Objectively, what I would tell you is it seems to me you can make this work. However, if you want proof of that, you may want to pay an accountant or a certified financial planner a flat fee, not a ongoing management. You need someone to run an analysis to show your husband what you and I have been just talking about. Because I don't think your husband's going to be like, oh, yeah, this chick you called from a podcast says it's okay. No, thanks. But
no, we respect you, both of us.
Well, thank you. But even so, I think what would be really helpful is for you to talk to somebody and say, I want to pay a flat fee to have a plan created for our retirement. And you can do that. There's an organization called NAPFA, the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors, NAPFA.org. And there are people who will be able to create a plan for you where they are basically going to prove to you, and it may cost you a couple $1,000s, may cost you $3,000. I don't know how much they would charge you, but you should just do this as a standalone plan where you pay a fee and tell them exactly what you have told me. You'll be able to give them all of your documentation, and they'll run the analysis. That's what I think he needs. He needs proof. He
Yes.
needs like hard proof. Your inclination is correct. I think my little back of the envelope guesstimate is pretty good. But all that being said, I think if we can give him proof, I think he'll feel better. This will give you the opportunity to also say to him, like, it's not just me, it's a professional who thinks that. And by the way, you guys have done an amazing job. I mean, I don't know how much money you made in your life, but this is a ton of equity that you have created in real estate. As long as it's not bugging you and as long as you're not feeling the pressure around managing this, I think it's just great. There are a lot of different ways to get to a retirement outcome that is within your reach. I just now know that we need to prove it to your husband. If you've got a financial question, all you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a little button. It says Contact Us. Click the button and fill out the form, and we'll get your note. Don't forget to let us know if you want to come on the air live. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we conclude the program, I'd love to get to this message from Joseph. It's such an interesting one. Joseph writes, I saw your interview with Ed Slott, and I'm wondering what you think about QLACs. Okay, guys, let me just translate that. Qualified Longevity Annuity Contract. Let me get back to Joseph. I keep looking for more information that reinforces the quality of QLACs. With a portfolio of about $1.6 million and $220,000 moved so far into a Roth at age 70, I think it makes sense to buy a QLAC that would further protect $200,000 from required minimum distributions until I start to take income at age 84. What do you think about this strategy and QLACs? Okay, I had to remind myself what these things are and what the new rules are, etc. So thank you very much, Joseph. So as the name would imply, these are annuity contracts issued by insurance companies. Now, the interesting thing about a QLAC is that only an asset from a traditional IRA or a qualified plan, like a 401k or a 403b, not an inherited IRA, by the way, are eligible to move into a qualified longevity annuity contract. Now, here is the cool part. You can elect an income start date up to age 85. And whatever the amount that you pop into the QLAC is removed from your required minimum distribution calculation. There is a max that you're allowed to do, so it's $200,000. So here's the question, Joseph. Is the money that you would be required to take on that $200,000 and pay tax on, is that worth the loss of control and the cost associated with an annuity contract? Also, we know what tax rates are right now. We don't know what they're going to be 15 years in the future. This might be a brilliant idea or a really dumb one if tax rates are much higher. Okay, that's it. That is the program. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and web king. Please try to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.